I was thinking they could go from the windows to the walls till the sweat dropped down my balls. Now back, back it up.
I can't wait to post on social media that my kids are going back to school again.
No one on social media cares.
20th Century Fox would like to introduce you to Pee-wee and his pals.
Speaking of horny mother.
Tommy, Mickey, Tim,
I'm going tonight, right? I don't know.
and the biggest man on campus.
Why do they call you meat? Because it's so big?
When they're not in class, they're into everything.
Save your energy, you're gonna need it.
Okay. Okay, pull over. Coast is clear.
But what they'd like to get into most is a place called Porky's.
I left my idea. Here, use this one.
That's my Bible school card.
Unfortunately, we can only show you the outside of Porky's, because what goes on inside is not to be believed.
Boy, the locker room. Oh, it turned me on.
We'd like to show you more of the locker room, but this kind of physical education just isn't taught. We can't show you more of the shower scene, because what they're looking at isn't watered down.
They want us to look. They want us to look.
Porky's. You too will be back for a second look.
Okay, I'm ready.
Now let's you just drop them pants.
Oh, he went down on the cage stand.
Oh my gosh, he fell.
Joey wants to be a turtle. You ready, Joe?
Yep.
Okay, let's go. And there's our turtle.
Above found the stuff and the girl just can't get enough. I'm Buff Daddy. Buff is the stuff. Buff Daddy. I'm Buff Daddy. Buff is the stuff.
What's up, Poop Pirates? Welcome back to another episode of the BDC Show. As you can see, there's a storm a-brewing. So I know from your perspective as the viewer, it seems like weeks ago that we were on our way down to South Carolina. And you're right, it was. Last week we did that special ASMR video, so it kind of screwed up our schedule, but we are back and ready for action. So what did you guys think of last week's episode? It was kind of different than our usual fare, and definitely not ASMR in the traditional sense. But that was such a cool stretch of Interstate 40 that I recorded it and had to share it with you guys. So basically, I made my drop up in Columbia, and then was sent over to the Ridgeville-Somerville area to await my next run at a Flying J truck stop. I was horrified after driving all day to find out this is one of those scumbag-owned truck stops that charges for parking. But I snuck in and parked without paying. But the next day, some kid with pimples on his face and a septum piercing came and chased me off. I told him that I'd leave, but I ate my chicken bacon ranch wrap before moving down to the rest area about 10 miles east. It's small, but I was able to find a space between a prime truck and a Swift truck. I may not make it out alive. Pray for me, will you, chat? I also confused the hell out of the lady at the counter and ended up getting a free pack of cigarettes. I told her I wanted a carton of Cools, and she rang up a single pack and put it in the bag before turning around and handing me a carton. Classic. You see? She was supposed to take one of the packs out of the carton, but she didn't. So I got 11 packs for the price of 10. I wandered into the rest area bathrooms to take a Mondo Duke before this rainstorm began. Always poop before bad weather, kids. If you don't remember anything else you hear today, make sure you remember that. If you find yourself having to pinch a loaf when it's raining and thundering, you're gonna have to gear up for that walk into the shitter and then do your business while you are soaking wet. Night fell, but the storm was being bashful. The weather map kept changing, and it looked like maybe the storm would pass me by. That's crazy, because I even got a weather alert from my ELD that said there was a chance of coastal flooding. But I guess they were capping. On God, no cap on Crip, am I right? Even though I'd gives my left nuts for a run right now. I'd be lying if I didn't say that it's kind of nice to sit here and just absorb this South Carolina nature right now. Makes it real easy to relax and reflect. I thought about maybe putting some music on, but just in case this storm does decide to start wilding out, I don't want to put myself in a position where I am wasting battery. The last thing I'd want is to be dispatched on a run and have to be stuck at this rest area. It's one of those deals where you just have to always be ready. I know that there is a Walmart distribution center right down the road, so as soon as they have something, that is where I am headed. Hopefully nowhere near Georgia. Back to Texas would be nice. El Paso, Texas would be perfect. Or one of those party places like South Padre Island. They have a couple new bridges that they just built that I wouldn't mind driving this big bastard of a truck over, just to be able to say that I did it. So I just stay chilling, waiting for the phone to ring. That's why it's always best to do your 34 on the weekend, because a lot of those warehouses close down on Saturday and Sunday, and you end up sitting around. But I don't think that Walmart is one of those. They run their ops 24/7. But I'm cool with it either way. I'm just hanging out in the sleeper. Sweating profusely, eyes bloodshot, ribs visible, just thrusting away. Drinking sea monkeys by the gallon, my tummy feel crazy. They must have amnesia. They forgot that I'm him. So it slowly started to dawn on me that I was going to end up doing my 34-hour reset here at this South Carolina rest area. Which would have been fine, except I spent a good 24 hours at the truck stop the day before. When I started up the engine and moved the 9 miles to this rest area, it reset my clock, meaning that I would have to restart that 34-hour reset, making me eligible to drive again at some time around 5 a.m. tomorrow, and that's even if they have a load for me. I'm not super worried about the money because I've basically liquidated all of my assets and live on the truck. I'm basically spending my money on food, cigarettes, and the occasional shower. I even got an email from GM Financial saying that they are coming to repossess the Malibu. I actually encouraged them to do so. Stop calling me. The only thing I have looming on the horizon is that I want to start socking away some money so I can fly out to California and visit my daughter. It's been almost a year since I've seen her on anything other than FaceTime. The guilt of me being an absent father is really starting to take its toll on my psyche. I mean, everything that is happening right now was always a part of the plan. In fact, I initially was prepared to work for 2 years before I could find something closer to her. But the company I'm working for has me under a 1-year contract, and I'm already a couple of months in. I just assumed that this company went to California, which they don't, so that kind of threw a wrench into my plans, but I'll work it out. I always do. It would have been nice, though, to have gotten a delivery to the San Francisco Bay Area. I could just do a 34-hour reset there and see my daughter. Even with all this in mind, I don't regret making these changes in my life at the age of 45. I know in my heart that I did the right thing. Insanity is doing the same things over and over again and expecting different results. That's a perfect metaphor for my marriage. toxic as fuck, and I had to get out. So after a weekend waiting around for a run, I finally got one. Going back up to Ohio, I went back up to the truck stop that I was kicked out of a couple days before, and there was this dingbat washing out his trailer in the fuel lane. Never mind that it was raining. When he noticed me, he pulled up a little bit, but not enough for me to get any fuel. He didn't seem like he spoke any English, but the phrase "move your fucking ass" is spoken in a universal language. Where do these morons come from? And what's it like to be them? I saw this place called Smoking Gringos, and I have to say that I was intrigued. Of course, there was no truck parking, so I ended up just passing it by. Besides, round 4 of the storm was about to start, so I hustled over to the shipper and got hooked up to my load. I have actually been to this shipper before, and funny enough, I've been to the receiver too. When I entered both addresses into my GPS, the autofill feature kicked in, meaning that I had entered both addresses at some point in the past. You gotta love technology. I got coupled to the trailer as soon as possible and performed a quick little pre-trip on it. That last trailer I had was beat the fuck up. It was legal and roadworthy, but it had all kinds of dents and scrapes on it, streaks of blue paint. It was probably hit by a swift truck. There was this ominous sign warning people of alligators. The sign said to show them respect. So I guess while they're biting your legs, you're supposed to be like, "Please sir, stop biting my leg." Nah man, I'll turn that motherfucker into a pair of boots if you don't come correct. We started driving north toward Charlotte, North Carolina. The storm was on the horizon, and I knew that I was going to end up driving right into it. No worries. Driving in the rain doesn't bother me, especially when I'm rolling at 30,000 pounds. The weight keeps me stable. I stopped just north of the Queen City to get some more fuel. I had driven into the storm and got out ahead of it, but while I was gassing up, the storm caught up with me and I was right back into that soup. Like I said, that doesn't bother me. It was the other people driving like idiots. Look at that shit. I'm glad I'm not paying for this gas. Real talk, I fucking hate Charlotte. I swear to God I've never driven through this place without traffic being a Chinese fire drill. You'd think that these people would know how to drive, but they are dangerous as hell. I expected more out of the hometown of Ric Flair. I was moving really slowly, and people were darting in and out of lanes, as if one of them was moving faster than any of the others. Some dork in a Mitsubishi with California plates flipped me off for not allowing him to zipper merge. The zipper merge is the stupidest thing ever. I don't know why people always choose me to get right in front of, but I won't let you. So don't even try it. I'm under no obligation to do so, and your blinker means nothing to me. You want in? You can get in right behind me. So after navigating through North Carolina, we got up into Virginia. The rain and the traffic really slowed me down, so I started planning on stopping. I also got a gnarly headache, probably from drinking too much caffeine and smoking too many cigarettes. There's this really small town called Bastion in Bland County that has a BP gas station that no one knows about, so I was betting that no one would be parking there overnight. I went there one time and they had some awesome breakfast sandwiches, but they had some really foul bathrooms. One of the stalls had a big, beefy, fibrous piece of shit on the floor right in front of the toilet. It also smelled like piss to the point of nausea. Regardless, that would be my stopping point for the night. Hopefully they would have some aspirin, Tylenol, or Motrin for sale. My head was banging. I set it into my GPS and headed for it. I would be leaving like 2 hours of drive time left on my clock, but if dispatch wants to complain, I'll point out how I didn't the last 4 days when I didn't have a load. How are you guys liking this episode so far? We're about 15 minutes or so deep, and we got miles to go before you sleep. Our longest episode to date is Choice Cuts, coming in at just shy of 39 minutes. I am looking to beat that record tonight. It's odd that Choice Cuts is the longest episode, but it only has a measly 44 views. We also need to get 50 subscribers so we can do live streams of trips. TikTok freaks out if you live stream while driving, but YouTube doesn't give a fuck. It's the Wild West over here. I'm not making any promises concerning the length of this video, but I am definitely going to go longer than 39 minutes. A regular hour-long TV show without commercials is 48 minutes. We can definitely do better than that. We go hard and take no prisoners over here. Big dog, big nuts. So anyway, we stopped in Bastion, and just like I predicted, there were only 2 trucks parked there. When I walked around mine to do my post-trip inspection, I could tell by the decals on their doors that they were local. It stands to reason they would know about that place. When I woke up, everything was misty and the clouds seemed really low, so I snapped these selfies atop Brushy Mountain. It looks like something out of The Hobbit. I know those movies have their fanboys, but I'm here to tell you that Lord of the Rings is straight up homosexual Special Olympics gay. They forced me to read that bullshit in high school, and I didn't learn anything useful from it. Never did I recall something from those books that I could use practically in my life. They should have been teaching us how to be financially responsible citizens than reading that bullshit. But whatever. We woke up and came down out of the misty Blue Ridge Mountains into West Virginia before crossing over into Ohio. It seemed really quick. Perhaps it's because I've made this trip a few times before already. But when I drive early in the morning, it always seems faster. Look at this landscape, though. Let that Wankstain truck get out of the way and check out that mist. Looks like something out of Octopussy. Despite all the hills and the need for me overusing my engine brake, I love West Virginia. It's gorgeous out here. And then the sun comes in and does its thing. It's just the chef's kiss. I would challenge you to find a better view anywhere else in the world. Paris at night, fuck all that. You know why the streets of Paris are lined with trees? So the German army can march in the shade. So here we are back in Ohio, the home of White Castle and Rax. Oh, you don't know Rax? It's kind of like an Arby's, but they have a better selection. Daniel Tosh did an expose of them on his show a few years back. I've never actually eaten there, but I've heard good things. We had no problems at the shipper. I dropped off my load and picked up an empty and was out of there in record time. Then it was off to Lima, Ohio for another pickup heading down to Georgia. Once again, I am getting good miles, and I have 2 days to get there. There was a long wait for my pickup, though. Part of that was my fault for showing up a whole ass 2 hours early. But once my window time hit, I started getting impatient. I still needed to pick up something for dinner and find a place to park before it gets too late. I've been to this shipper before. They've never been on time. I mean, this whole job is timing and distance. So I don't understand how these fools stay in business. I won't reveal their name, but let's just say that they are a multi-million-dollar corporation. That's why. I'm not too worried, though. For some reason, I never have trouble finding a place to park for the night in Ohio. I can't explain it. There is always somewhere to go and no one gives you a hard time about it. Ohio is all right in my book. So it took for fucking ever, but I finally got loaded. Too bad I'm a lowly hand worker, otherwise I would file a complaint against these hose beasts. So now we start making our way south to Georgia. Easy Money, Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee, all of the usual suspects. Don't light me up in the comments if some of the footage you see in the next few minutes is some of the same shit you've seen before. I've made this route so many times, I've seen it all before. How would you like to switch places? You can drive and I can criticize. Fun fact, I ate breakfast in the hometown of Neil Armstrong. You know him, right? He was that motherfucker stomping around on the moon. We left the flag up there because we can go back and get it whenever the hell we feel like it. Some people don't think we went to the moon because the earth is flat. Those people have shit for brains. People thinking that the earth was flat used to be the standard measurement of stupidity. Glad to see that still holds up today. Don't come around me with that flat earth nonsense. I'll steal your lunch money and give you a wedgie until your kidneys are damaged. You're free to believe what you want to believe, but I ain't trying to hear that. I got better things to do with my time than listen to that bullshit. As I dropped down into the bluegrass state, I saw a sign for a state park that had me laughing so hard I couldn't catch my breath, and I nearly flipped the truck. I saw it because I was looking for a place to do some laundry and perhaps take a shower. Check this out. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, there it is in all of its glory. Big Bone Lick State Park. It's fun for the entire family. What I really want to know is who thought it would be a good idea to name it that. Remember, you date a handy, but you marry a blowy. So I finally got some laundry done at the Loves in Richmond, Kentucky. I stopped just for a couple of hours, and was going to finish off the rest of my shift tonight. I didn't ask dispatch for permission to do this, I just did it. I'll still make it on time. Toasty! Scared you, didn't it? Shout out to the Toasty guy. Longtime viewers know that I don't have sponsors, but dude wipes are the best in a pinch. I absolutely love these things. Whether it's beefy armpits or a butt crack that smells like onions, dude wipes straighten you right out. I pulled over for the night into a closed DOT way station somewhere in western North Carolina in the middle of a light rain. I could hear it drumming on the roof and I found it so relaxing. You have to admit, I've been going hard this episode. But that's why you love me. All gas, no brakes. That is why it's important to take moments like this and relax. Just listen to the rain and find your center. It gets hectic out here and you have to remember to take time for yourself. No one else out here gives a rat's ass about you. I'm hoping some DOT officer doesn't come in early tomorrow morning with something to prove, and decides to inspect everyone who parked here last night. As long as no dickheads come up and block me in. I'm out of here at 7:30 a.m. sharpish. I feel like I parked close enough to the lane so no one can sneak in next to me. I also parked far enough away as to not impede traffic. But there is a huge gap in front of me that someone could come and wiggle into. We're supposed to be this brotherhood of consummate professionals that look out for each other and all that sort of shit. But I'm here to tell you, that just isn't true. Everyone is too busy complaining and cutting each other's throats. But not trusting anybody is my baseline. And as if to prove my point, check this ass clown out right here. Who the fuck is this asshole? I was literally just saying how some everlasting dickweed was gonna come along and block me in. But who gives a shit, right? It's me, and fuck everyone else. My shit is more important. Okay, let's get back to relaxing. I'm in a fucking angry tailspin right now. I just have to take some deep breaths and remember that in 100 years, everyone I know, including myself, will be dead and none of the bullshit I'm doing today will matter. You gots to keep it real. So we gotta be closing in on like 25 minutes or so in this episode. Like I mentioned earlier, this is going to be the longest video that I've done on the channel. I realize that pointing that out while it's happening kind of diminishes it, but so what? I haven't had any scruples to this point, so why start now? But today was a good day. We got some good miles in, and we did all of our laundry except these rags that I'm wearing. The entire cab smelled like Gain with Febreze while I was driving through the mountains. I bought this little air freshener in a can, but that thing doesn't work worth a damn. My hamper full of laundry gave off more scent than that thing ever has. It was glorious. I don't even know how to adequately describe it to you plebeians. Just trust me, it smelled awesome. So tomorrow we will get down into Georgia. It's been raining in the south like it was monsoon season or some shit. I would much rather deal with that than the humidity. My weather app says it's going to be raining all the way there, but what do they know? The place I'm going to is right on the Atlantic coast, so it's probably going to be miserable anyway. Heat, humidity, and the bugs. Plus, for some reason, the people down there always seem rude. Maybe it's just me, but I just don't dig that dirty South attitude. I'd rather deal with those fucksticks in New York City if I'm gonna have to listen to some bullshit. But whatever. Get in, get out, and get paid. Stay focused on the mission and nothing else matters. Oh wait, what's this? Is this Dingleberry gonna move his shit? Yeah, that's right, boy. You better move that shit. I'll pour sugar in your gas tanks. I'm a grimy little pimp, and I will do anything to get even. But first, I need to get some sleep before our final push. Plus, we got a lot more of this episode to go, and I need my rest. Wouldn't you know it? As soon as I woke up, I checked my mirrors, and I was surrounded by state troopers. They didn't light me up or anything, but they weren't there when I went to sleep. But they were there when I woke up. Creepy little fuckers. I always do a thorough pre-trip, but I did an extra thorough one today. I was very demonstrative in my movements, making those sweeping motions they talked about in CDL school. I have a fully charged and properly secured fire extinguisher. Not cracked, broken, or missing. I needn't have been in such a rush because just down the road there was a gnarly accident that took up both lanes, but the background looked magnificent. It's weird how in the South, when there is traffic, everyone dismounts their vehicle and mills about. The lady next to me was presumably talking on the phone to her boss, explaining that she was going to be very late. It didn't look like it was going well. Some good advice is that if you're going to be late, don't call and show up hours afterward. People will just be happy that you're alive. Look at these morons. What are they going to do when traffic suddenly starts moving again? Don't think they'll be impressed that you're standing outside your car and get things moving just because of you? Come on, guy. Get it together, guy. We all want to move. I literally sat in this bullshit for just over an hour. It was backed up for miles. I updated my ETA a couple different times before calling dispatch and telling them that I wasn't sure what time I was going to show up. Hell, I could be stuck here forever for all I knew. But all traffic jams come to an end, and this one did as well. We started moving slowly before getting up to where the action was. I wasn't even sure what was going on. I couldn't find any information on TikTok or Reddit, the most reliable news sources these days. This was just before the South Carolina border on Interstate 26. Oh, that reminds me. Before I parked last night, I drove through that same stretch of Interstate 40 that was featured in last week's episode, but in the dark and in the rain. It was hella scary. Shit, it was scary in the daytime. I can't stand narrow spaces as it is. Then you put me in a horizontal skyscraper on wheels and are like, put it in that tiny hole. Man, I'm trying to kick back and cruise. Shut your bitch ass up. I changed my ETA for the 5th time in less than 2 hours of starting, but dispatch, being the good lads that they are, called ahead and had it changed from a live unload to a drop and hook. That was fine with me. Those damn live unloads eat into my DOT clock. By the time we got up to the accident scene, all of the evidence had been taken away, and all that remained was the heroic first responders standing around with their dicks in their hands talking and smoking. Get the fuck out of the way, assholes. I'm working here. It rained all the way to the I-95 interchange. It was raining in South Carolina when I left here almost a week ago. I guess for you guys, it would be 2 weeks ago. That last episode really threw off the timeline, didn't it? You'll be okay. In fact, you're probably feeling better already. This is another reason I hate Georgia. Look at this reverse setup. This is how freeways look in England, if those pasty jagoffs even have them. I made it to Midway and dropped my trailer and quickly ran up to Savannah and picked up another. One of my headlights burned out when it got dark enough for me to turn on my lights. It was working when I did my pre-trip this morning, and it was working when I had my lights on while it was raining. I was heading to just outside the Atlanta metro area. I could recount all the ways this was going to suck, but you guys already know that it's going to suck. I was bombing down Interstate 16 going to the one rest area. But I got there late, so I illegally parked on the rest area on-ramp and fixed my light. I just crossed my fingers that I wouldn't get fucked with, and I kinda breathed easier when other truckers joined me in illegally parking. They wouldn't ticket all of us, would they? I woke up without any citations and made my delivery. I thought they were gonna put me on a 34, but instead I got a run from Alabama to Texas. This is a perfect opportunity to get some Whataburger. I haven't eaten that since November of 2007. I made a run similar to this before, so I'm with it. My opinion on 34-hour resets is well documented. I want the miles. I want the drive. I want all the smoke. Smoke in the helmets, smoke everywhere. So I drove down into Alabama to pick up my load in some town called Eclectic. Yes, that is its real name. It had a legit small-town vibe. There was a lot of that down here in the Trader States. I had a hard time finding the truck entrance, but eventually got it. The place was weird. I had to completely disconnect from the trailer and park elsewhere. Another thing that I found odd was that the warehouse was almost entirely made up of women. Not that I'm complaining, mind you. One thing we might get out of this is running into some strange wool. I wouldn't mind laying a little something down on my way to Texas. No, I'm just kidding. Or am I? Nobody knows. Nobody really knows for sure. Maybe I'm being serious, or maybe I'm just fucking around. Even with all the eccentricities of the shipper in Eclectic, Alabama, I got hooked up and started heading out toward Fort Worth. I got caught in a gnarly thunderstorm as I twisted and turned up some sketchy-ass Alabama back roads. Straight up Deliverance style. I don't know if I've said this before, but in case I didn't, I'll say it now. I would much rather drive on interstates than on backwoods highways. I mean, yeah, you can go just as fast on them as you can the freeway, but you come across towns with reduced speeds and stoplights. This is the kind of place where if you were speeding or running red lights, some local would report you at once to some outback redneck law enforcement agency and they'd run you down like a dog. Jesus, did I say that? Or just think it, did they hear me? Reality means nothing to me, boyo, except a signed payroll check with a forged signature, the toilet swipe, the mega acid smile, the glitz in the universal way. Yeah, crawling through maggot breath yee-haw boys with latex toys. That guy gets it. He knows what I'm talking about. This rain was knuckin' futs though, and that's real talk. I'm not normally one to douse my drawers at the sight of a mere thunderstorm, but there was a moment where I was thinking about our captain of the ship policy, and how I can stop any time I don't feel safe. Don't judge me, dickweeds. There is a gigantic gulf between thinking about something and actually doing it. The idea did cross my mind, but I have a fucking deadline and I intend to keep it. I'm excited about the prospect of taking my 34-hour reset in the Dallas area. Maybe after all these years I can finally find out who shot J.R. Ewing, or was it Patrick Ewing? Whichever one wore the cowboy hat. If you know, don't spoil it for me. Definitely don't spoil it for me in the comments or by liking, commenting, and subscribing. I was looking at some of those clouds and they were oddly funnel-shaped. I knew that I would have to drive through this storm and possibly even some apoplectic tornadoes. Drove as hard as I can only to seek refuge in Mississippi. The South is the gift that keeps on giving. I don't know if you guys know this, but there are only 5 episodes on this channel that are longer than 30 minutes, and this one is about to become number 6. This video isn't in a class by itself, but it doesn't take too long to call the roll. Where's the beef? Indeed. There were so many times that I could swear that I was hydroplaning while driving in this shit. Not only that, but every car and truck had this fine misty spray in its wake. As they bombed down the highway, I didn't stop though. I'm a bad motherfucker and everyone knows it. You gotta just trust your abilities. Ain't nobody gonna hydroplane, and ain't nobody gonna crash. You can't be out here driving scared. If you can't run with the big dogs, then get your bitch ass back up on the porch. We out here chasing paper. My money long, my pockets deep. My money is longer than James Cameron. I'm in the K-hole licking on balloon knot. Man, we are getting more and more wild the longer this episode goes. We gotta get refocused. Okay, yeah. So this rainstorm was hardcore. Let me just say to all you four-wheelers out there, don't turn on your fucking four-way flashers in the rain. It's completely unnecessary. If you're scared of the rain, just pull over to the side. Definitely don't be cruising in the fast lane at 40 miles per hour with your flashers on. We ended up pulling over for the night at a Mississippi Welcome Center in Tumbusa. Yes, that's really the name. They be naming things weird shit down here. I swear I saw a sign that said Snoochie Boochie River earlier. I'm not even kidding around. I was surprised at how quickly I passed out once we stopped for the night. It was a long day of hard driving, and even the weather was trying to get me. But sleeping is risky too. It's a bad habit laying around with your eyes closed. That's how they get you. When I woke up and started driving, there was another storm that I had to try and outrun. What is going on in the South? It's been raining for weeks. Remember when this video started, we were in South Carolina and it was raining, and now it still is. What the hell? So if you've been watching this episode since the beginning, you are now watching the longest video in the history of this channel. People will say that Working Class Zero was the BDC show's magnum opus, the longest video we've ever made. What's up now, ass? Heading west along I-20 through Mississippi is a total vibe. That welcome center that I stayed at last night had a roving security guard. I don't think I've seen that anywhere else. He nearly busted me pissing between the tractor and trailer because I was too lazy to walk to the building. I saw zero police between starting and the Louisiana border. I guess the Mississippi State Patrol was too busy fucking their sisters, or maybe their cousins. God only knows how they roll down here. I just know it's all bad. I'm not sure how many times I've crossed the Mississippi River now. I just know that it's a lot. It's such an awesome landmark, I can't help but look out at it every time I do. I can't imagine the balls on those people that cross this river in covered wagons. It's kind of similar to what I'm doing now, just with advanced technology. Aside from the fact that they speak French here, I like Louisiana. The people are nice here. I know that it's super humid and they have hella mosquitoes, not to mention the first season of True Detective. I'd never live here, but I don't mind visiting it. I ended up stopping at a Pilot truck stop in Rayville, and I was a bit disappointed. I always try to stop early to pick up something for dinner, so that I only have to worry about finding parking later on. But I'm a Love's loyalist. The best truck stop by far. The company seems to understand this concept because most of my fuel solutions are at Love's. It's not just that. I feel like the food is fresher, they have more options, and to date, it's the only truck stop I am willing to take a shower at. I should do a top 5 truck stop segment. Just before crossing the border into Texas, there was a gnarly accident on the 220. I saw this guy and was surprised that he wasn't involved. Holy Final Destination, am I right? His load did not look secure. I was scared to death. If four-wheeled drivers wonder why we hate you, look no further than this. The lane he's trying to get into is closed. He knows it, I know it, and everyone waiting in the left lane knows. But did that stop him from getting into the right lane to try and get ahead of everyone? Of course not. We hate you because you're idiots. You're like toddlers. You do shit just to do it, but you don't know why. The same license you have in your pocket is the same one some 16-year-old with zits on his face and cum stains on his pants has. But I digress. There really is no place on earth quite like Texas. You wouldn't see a billboard like that in California. I pulled into the Loves in Duncanville and started my 34-hour reset. I have enough time to do it before my delivery on Monday morning. Time to rest and relax. I feel like I've earned it. Lots of driving this week. So originally I was going to get Whataburger, but instead I had some awesome barbecue at this place here. 10 out of 10 would recommend. But after that, it was time for me to get a shower. I was covered in sweat. Summertime in Texas is no fucking joke. I believe I have mentioned before that I am a Love's loyalist, mostly because they do have the best showers. They give you 2 towels and a washcloth and free soap. But I brought my own soap, my own deodorant, and of course my Brute aftershave. Like a wise man once said,
"You can take me, but you cannot take my bunghole. For I have no bunghole. I am the great Cornholio."
I couldn't have said it better myself. All in all, this was a good 34-hour reset. In the morning, it would be a quick little jaunt up to Fort Worth and drop this bullshit off, and then it's on to the next one. Hopefully it's someplace that isn't hotter than the devil's puckered ass hole. Nome, Alaska would be nice. No, I'm just kidding. My air conditioning can't be fucked with. Check out these digs. The only issue I had with the shower is that the water pressure was kind of broke dick, but it's all good. Nothing worth complaining about. You gotta bring your shower shoes or you're gonna get some foot fungus. I have a pair that I only use for showers. I wrap them up in a plastic bag in between uses. I don't want to bring athlete's foot into where I work and sleep. That's some free advice for you. You also have a private toilet, unlike the public restrooms where everybody is making a do-do stew together. I always feel more relaxed in the shower toilet and can poop appropriately for once. It's the only comfortable shit I take all week. So then I grabbed my shit and got the hell out of there, grabbing a bag of peanut M&Ms and a bottle of water. I will be rolling out early the next morning, so I'll be going to bed just as early. This truck stop is pretty quiet, so I should be able to sleep without being disturbed. It has also been well documented that I have a touch of the OCD, so when I eat M&Ms or any other candy that has different colors, I empty the bag and immediately separate them by color, and then eat them until there is an even amount of each. It is weird, I know, but I am as the devil made me. So I was right, I was able to sleep well. But when I woke up, some guy was trying to back in with his reverse alarm going beep 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 like a psycho at 3 in the morning. Like, bro, people are trying to sleep here. I can't say that the incessant alarm would have woke me up, but I can say that it was annoying as I sat there getting ready, and when I was doing my pre-trip, I kept looking over at him and giving him dirty looks. This footage you see was like 20 minutes into him backing in. I couldn't leave when I was ready, because I had to wait for him to get his bitch ass in the hole. He was effectively blocking the entire way out. Doesn't this ass clown know that I'm on a fucking schedule here? Go park on an on-ramp like the rest of the rookies. I say that in jest because I am a rookie myself, but I try not to make rookie mistakes. You gotta get out of your comfort zone. It's nice, but nothing grows there. We jump into time-lapse for the trip to Fort Worth. I got there so quickly I was 2 hours early, but they took me anyway. There was already a line, so I ended up on the sidelines waiting for a door to open up. It was already 80 degrees at 9 in the morning. Ridiculous. I can't understand how I used to live in this kind of heat, and how the people who still live here do. It's completely bonkers if I do say so myself. There was a tiny bit of drama when this Somalian dude tried to jump ahead of me in line, and I had to get out and let him know what's up. He feigned ignorance, but I can't tell if it was genuine or not. Besides, the warehouse people knew the order of arrival. They kept it real. Whenever I get into situations like this, I remember that time when Dog the Bounty Hunter was yelling at the camera and kept using my name. It helps to keep me calm. Here's the clip.
So, Brian? Let me have you, Brian! What did you do? You're living it every night, aren't you, boy? Turn yourself in, Brian. Once in your life, be a man.
Powerful stuff. Thanks for the moral support, dog. After dropping off my trailer, I went to gas up before dispatch gave me another load, and I saw this Durka Muhammad Jihad guy taking a bath at the gas pumps, getting clean before making an illegal U-turn and killing 3 people. Bro, what the fuck is wrong with people? That water isn't potable. You shouldn't be rubbing it on your skin, and you definitely shouldn't drink it. So turns out my next load was 7.5 tons of Legos going up to Topeka, Kansas. Awesome. I've been there before. But this time they mostly kept me on the interstates instead of the back roads. I liked that independent truck stop I stayed at the last time, but I hate stoplights and reductions of speed. Besides, there are plenty of comparable truck stops out here. No big thing. Stops like this place. It's called Brody's and is about 60 miles south of Oklahoma City. It was named after the late Amity Police Chief Martin Brody, who killed the shark in the first 2 Jaws movies. You think I'm making that shit up? Of course I am. It passes the time, brother. But they had some top-notch corn dogs and lots of parking spots. I was able to take my 30-minute break here. It was crazy stupid hot in Oklahoma as well, so I ended up driving into the capital city of the Sooner State with no shirt on. I was also wearing flip-flops. I can hear the old heads in this industry collectively scream as I say that. Those dinosaurs are very hung up on what kind of footwear other truckers are wearing. When I kick you in the grill with my flip-flops, the last thing you'll see before you lose consciousness is the price tag on them. There was a Petro truck stop I was going to stop at for the night that was basically in downtown Oklahoma City, and I ended up getting turned around despite the GPS telling me where to go. I ended up having to skirt around the narrow streets. I stopped early so I could get started the next night early, and was able to sleep despite it being almost 100 degrees. But when I got back on the road, there was no traffic and I was able to make it up to the Kansas Turnpike with no problems. I wish there was a way I could keep this kind of schedule all the time. I would much rather drive at night because the road was deserted. I don't know if I can use this as a baseline measurement because it was northern Oklahoma and Kansas. Do people even live here? It was kinda weird because I ended up taking my 30-minute break at like 6 in the morning. They have some decent service areas on the Kansas Turnpike, but nothing like the ones in Ohio. I'd include the ones in Connecticut in the conversation, if it wasn't for the traffic. After my break was over, I found out that I was dropping my trailer and picking up the next one at the same place. Fucking mint, am I right? And wouldn't you know it? It was heading back down to the Dallas-Fort Worth metro area. You can't make this shit up. I got down to a city called Towanda when I saw on my weather app that there was a gnarly storm coming. I couldn't avoid it, so I decided to pull over.
Alright, you guys, we are like 50 minutes deep into this episode, and while I'd like to go for an hour, I'm exhausted. So let's go ahead and wrap it up here. I just want to say again, thank you for your continued support of the channel. I couldn't do this without y'all. We will be back next week with more wild and wacky adventures from the road. I feel like I'm into a groove now, maximizing my time clock. I am also due for a raise the first week of September, so I have that to look forward to. We will always be able to look back and say that Working Class Zero was our longest episode, a true masterclass in long-form storytelling. Not that any of this makes any kind of sense, of course. This is all just mindless drivel. Just wait until I start fine-tuning this bitch. Why did it say drivel like that? Man, I hate this AI voice. That AI voice sucks dick, fingers itself, and sticks its thumb up its ass. I got no use for these artificially intelligent ass clowns. People are so scared they're gonna take over the world, but they can't even enunciate. And while we are on the subject of astrology, I was looking at a fat dirt star and the future looks shitty. So don't be buying lottery tickets or none of that bullshit. Just tune in next week or I'll come looking for you. Peace out, Girl Scouts.